Exactly what song was Elle singing? Find out this and more on Drop Your Buffs, a podcast discussing Australian Survivor. On this podcast, we'll be discussing the Australian Survivor episode that aired on Monday, the 26th of September. So if you haven't seen this episode yet and don't want to be spoiled, grab your things and head back to camp. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Just go to dropyourbuffs.com for more details. My name is Stuart, and with me, as usual, is my Survivor partner in crime, Craig.
Hello, Stu.
How's it going, Craig?
Round and round and round and round and round and
That's
round and round.
You seemed a bit bemused by my little intro about the song Elle was singing. Do you?
Well, I felt like I was in an episode of Play School, but I don't know. I'm hoping you have done your research and know what the song was, because I have no.
We'll
idea.
get to that later.
Yeah, I thought you might. I thought you might have something to say about that.
So we start with renovating the camp, and I don't think we've seen this on a previous Survivor where halfway through they actually get off their butts and they actually start doing the.
They had to do it though.
Yeah, because it wasn't much of a.
It's not big enough.
No,
They've got a big tribe now.
there wasn't much there. So.
I loved everyone was saying, "Isn't it nice that we're working together to renovate the shelter?" And Flick said, "Everyone's working together, isn't it lovely?"
Yes. And Kate, she just wants to have a genuine talk with someone because she's a genuine sort of a person, but she was finding it hard to approach people in a kind of a. In a kind of a genuine way that she wanted to. She was just finding it difficult, wasn't she?
Yeah, well, she's very keen to get the good guys together. That's how she described it. And, she had a chat with Kylie about that, who agreed with her again. Kylie seems to keep having these conversations.
I don't know what is going on in Kylie's brain.
Well, we'll get to that as well. But, and it's, it just doesn't ever seem to go anywhere. But she keeps saying, yeah, I want to work with you and I want the good guys to get together.
There's been lots of talk about the good guys. Maybe there's a good sponsorship deal in there that should be explored. It's not all about Hungry Jacks.
I like it.
And then,
sorry, I was just going to say, the good guys has got a really catchy jingle too. Maybe Elle could sing it.
And then we have a bit of a shot of the girls having a bit of a day spa on the beach.
Oh dear, that was really something, wasn't it? That was a bit. We didn't need to see that.
I mean, after Pink Bracelet Gate from last episode, that is just another. It just seems like another thing where they're basically saying to everyone else, "We're so comfortable with what we're doing and our power in the tribe. We're just going to just pluck each other's eyebrows out for the."
It wasn't just eyebrows; it was blackheads being squeezed out as well. It was gross.
Well, at least not since Kate's boil and early in the season. So.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that.
So we head on to the immunity challenge because this being a shorter episode, they just have the one challenge in this episode.
Yes.
I liked how JLP actually said the exact phrase "immunity back up for grabs."
He did.
So he's falling back into
he is
the Jeff Probst things.
He is. He set his own path initially, but I've just noticed lately I'm actually not noticing the difference. So I think he must be saying the things we're expecting him to say.
Yeah, he's more and more falling into the usual phrases, and it's
that's fine.
It's
I've got no problem with that.
Yeah, I think it's good.
This was a clever challenge, wasn't it?
It was clever.
So simple.
It was simple. Maybe they were a bit low on the budget at this stage in the season, and they had to try and think of a challenge that was pretty easy to set up.
Simple but effective. I mean,
it's good because it's a real equalizer in that it doesn't rely on physical strength or being able to swim or things like that.
Or, solve a complex puzzle. It was just about standing in the spot and spinning a ball around a ring. It was, this was really clever. I really liked it.
And it was something, you could see different survivors approached it in different ways as to how they were trying to do it, because it's not hard to do. So it's more about, what do you try and keep your mind occupied? How to keep your mind occupied while you're doing this spinning thing? Because I think it's one of those things, the more you think about it, the more trouble you're going to have.
Well, you notice Lee was staring off into space. He wasn't even looking at the ball as he was spinning it.
Which makes sense, because you don't need to look at it. You know where it is and what it's doing.
But it would be very easy to... It's like when you're typing... you're typing numbers into a spreadsheet or something, or if you're doing something very repetitive where you're going enter 126 point, whatever you're doing. It's really easy if you actually start thinking about it too much, where you'll actually make a mess of it.
It's like a muscle memory thing.
Yeah, it's really as I say, I loved it. I thought it was really, really clever.
Well, as I alluded to at the start, Elle was singing a song, and JLP, well, I'm not sure if it was just one song or several songs or the same song again and again or something like that. Look, I don't know what it was, but...
I thought you were going to tell me it was some famous song. You'd found out what it was.
Well, I mean, I thought that'd be fun to try and guess what song might it have been.
Okay.
So I came up with a few things like, was it Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash? Was it Ring Ring by ABBA?
Oh, why don't you give me a call?
But my favourite, my personal favourite is You Spin Me Round Like a Record.
Oh, I like
The old classic, yeah.
we could have had a Lord of the Rings soundtrack as well.
Oh, yes.
You've been talking about Pippin. I can't believe you didn't think about that.
Well, because Connor's already gone now,
yeah.
I've just sort of cut off all those jokes. So, yeah. So, and Matt, well, we had a few people drop out. Kate dropped out, and Matt dropped out. I thought, Matt.
We had eight gone within 14 minutes.
Yeah.
In that challenge.
Well, I was surprised
four went out before 5 minutes.
Right. Yeah. Well, I was surprised that Matt, I thought he would have some natural magician's dexterity, that this kind of thing would have been, right in his wheelhouse. But
I can't remember how he dropped out. Did he just lose concentration, or I can't remember what the circumstances were of him?
Yeah, I think so. It wasn't anything too dramatic. He just must have just had that little slip of concentration. That was around just before the 14-minute mark, I think.
Yeah. So in the end, it came down to Christy, Sam, and Lee and Elle after the 15-minute mark,
which then dropped down just to Ellen Lee.
Yeah,
Ellen
Lee
Lee
lasted over an hour,
and in the end, it was
Elle wins.
Elle wins. Yeah. That's right. So
good win to Elle.
Yeah, that's her first win, obviously, isn't it? As a
certainly first
individual.
So Kate won the first one,
yeah.
and Elle won the second one. Yeah,
that's right. So then that takes us to the pre-tribal scramble.
Oh
now,
dear.
I thought it was funny how this has been the biggest swing towards females versus males left in the game in, I think, the whole Survivor history. I'm pretty certain, because we've got 8 girls versus 4 guys at this stage.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Which really is quite a
I'm
big,
struggling to think of a situation where that might have happened before. Yeah.
Yeah, and not only
didn't we have a male versus female tribe at one stage? Haven't we had that before?
We
Yeah.
We have. That's right.
I guess that was
That's
early
right,
days
but
of that game, though.
Yeah, that's right. But and not only do you have this disparity, but you also have some scrambling going on from basically 2 different camps. Trying to, and both of the people who are organising those scrambles were girls. So it's really, the girls are really controlling both sides of this game.
Brooke in particular was telling everyone what to do and being quite forceful about it. This is how it will be.
Yeah.
Bang, bang, bang.
That's right.
You'll vote for this person will vote for that person.
Yep.
And then, of course, Sam was running around doing his own thing as well and was very confident that he had the numbers in that scramble.
It did seem that way.
Yeah.
And it seemed like Kylie was going to be the swing vote.
Well, she said she was with him. She said, "I'm with you, Sam."
Yeah. Well, because they got down to having equal votes, and then it seemed like he approached Kylie last, and I think that he had to get Kylie to join him for his plan to come out. But
then it all went horribly undone. I mean, why did Kylie do that?
I don't know.
Why did she go to talk to Brooke about it? Why did she do that?
Well, I can only think because she wants to try and keep the peace with this core alliance, but the core alliance don't even like her.
I know she's not. I don't even think she's really in that alliance.
No, unless we can see that as viewers, because we're seeing all the sides of the story. Maybe she didn't realise that herself, because they were always being nice to her and they didn't really realise.
I mean, she said in her confessional at one stage that this was all about being. I can't remember the exact words she used, but it was all about being true to the tribe or the alliance, whatever it was, and she'd given her word. And okay, I understand that, but it just brought everything undone, created that mass confusion just before everyone went to tribal council, and I just don't know what it achieved. And I think every time that if she's on the bottom of that group, and you can eventually pick off one by one all the old Vavau people, and she's next after you get rid of all those people. She's on the bottom of that group.
Absolutely.
I think she's had now 2 episodes in a row. She's had a great opportunity to align with some other people. So before Connor went, and they had the chances, but it's just getting harder and harder now because there's less and less of those people who are going to be willing to work. Well,
this is why I was really sad to see Phoebe go, because it's not since she was in the game has anyone made any big moves.
No, that's right. That's right. And it's almost getting now too hard for them because of because of this imbalance between the Sanapu numbers and the Vavau numbers, and
it's all a bit pointless.
Yeah, it's so it's I just thought that was odd strategy to go and do that. Okay, perhaps she was wrestling with her conscience and that was the way she dealt with it, but it just caused problems. It just caused chaos.
Well, Brooke wasn't happy with Sam, and she called Sam a snake, and that.
Well,
that term gets bandied around quite a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's been used an awful lot. Now she felt completely betrayed by him. Nick's saying, "I hate this idol. It's a magnet for trouble," and all hell broke loose, basically.
Yeah, well, actually, that was exactly what Lee said. He said, "All hell has broken loose. I'm over it."
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I think he did. I think he walked away, didn't he? And I don't want any part of it. Flex says, "I'm done. I'm over this." Insert word we can't say in a G-rated podcast here.
So then we get to the tribal council.
Boy, did you think as they all walked in, they just looked tense? I thought that they all had, obviously no one wants to be at tribal council, but they all just looked. There was an edge as they walked in. There was just, you could see it on their faces. There was stress. There was tension. You thought, oh, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, well, I thought probably the best thing that came out of that tribal council of any substance was Kate, and she was talking about. She was sort of, without singling anyone out, she was talking about the suppressed people that were in the alliance, and I guess she's referring to the people that are at the bottom end of the alliance that aren't calling the shots, that their days are numbered.
Yeah,
and they aren't, and they're too afraid to come out and to speak their minds and play their own game, basically. So
and good on her for doing that.
Yeah, it was good, but I'm not sure that it has really made much difference, though, unfortunately.
No, I don't think it made any difference at all to the result, but it had to be said. Good, as I say, good on her. Good on her. It was just brilliant.
I like how Nick likes to classify lies in terms of major lies and minor lies. So he's only done one major lie, and just ignore all those other little lies because they're just white lies.
Yeah, well.
And then Sam called him out as a snake.
He did.
So there's lots of snakes.
It was the look on Nick's face when he said that.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, the eyes lit up. What the hell is this about?
Well, everyone seemed pretty certain that Nick was a big fat liar, basically, and that Nick was very surprised about. So I'm not sure, where that disconnect came from exactly. Did Nick not realise how he played the game? Or maybe everyone else was a bit delusional, because I think Nick was saying that everyone has told lies, and...
Yeah, he said, look, basically, it was a lot of people acting pious, but everyone here's got blood in their hands and is telling lies. And I think you have to win Survivor. Yeah. And then we had Lee. I'm just bored. I'm just bored of this chat. He said he's over it. I don't believe Nick. I'm lost. Emotions getting in the way of what I want to do. Yeah, he wasn't happy.
What I find interesting is that, one thing that people may not know, if particularly if they're new to Survivor, maybe they haven't seen many of the US Survivor seasons, but even though the Tribal Council might only take 10 minutes when we see it on our TV screens, they may have filmed that over 2 hours. Or
apparently, it does go on for a long time.
Exactly.
So what we see is a highly edited version of it.
Exactly.
And no doubt they probably have to stop for production reasons to reposition cameras and mics and all sorts of stuff.
Right.
But yeah, apparently it does go on for quite a while.
That's right. And so Lee being bored with the discussion, maybe they've been doing this for the last 2 hours.
Well,
and he's literally bored.
That's quite possible. And yeah, it may not have been the content of the discussion he was bored about. It could just be, I've been sitting here, I want to vote, I want to go back to camp, right. I've had enough.
And I liked how Kate, when she was talking about the suppressed people and so on, she said something like she wanted those people to have the balls to play the game, which I thought was quite funny when most of the remaining players are actually women. So
Yeah, that was a great quote from Kate.
Yeah.
Good on. I love the way Kate played this. She said it how she is, and she didn't take any rubbish from anybody.
No, she's straight up and down.
She was, and she seemed
uh,
to, and the people she had close relationships with, they seemed to be quite genuine relationships. I mean, Sue was in. Oh, we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah,
we'll get to the vote. So we went to the vote.
Yep. We got the votes. Well, of course, Nick did play his idol
He did.
in the end. And would you like to go through the votes, Craig?
Yeah, so from least to most, Sue had 2, and they were Matt and Nick who voted for her. Nick had 4 votes cast for him, but obviously the idol cancelled those out, and those 4 were Sam doing what he said he would do, Christy, Sue, and Kate. No surprises there. And then Kate, though, she got 6 votes basically from old Sanapu, except for Sam. So that was Flick, Brooke, Elle, Kylie, Lee, and Jenna Louise all voted for her. So Kate was sent packing, and Sue was very upset and got a hug from Lee on the way out.
Yes, yeah. Sue was very emotional
She was,
actually,
yeah.
and
No,
so that was quite a touching moment.
I mean, poor Sue. I think she continually thinks that it's going to be her, and she probably has all this nervous energy built up around this.
I think so.
Yeah, and it just keeps not happening.
That's
She
right.
keeps watching these close allies of hers removed from the game. Must be tough for her.
And Nick did play his idol, which in hindsight he didn't actually have to, but I think it was probably worthwhile that he did do that though, because it was obviously a bit up in the air, wasn't it? So and there was a certain amount of animosity towards him during tribal council.
Yeah,
And I think that sort of swung him to
Well,
play the.
There were 2
the
factors. There was mass confusion, as we talked about, going on at tribal back at camp. I mean, before they went to tribal council, and I don't think it was clear in anyone's mind exactly what was going to happen after that. And then, as you say, there was a lot of venom thrown his way during tribal council itself. So yeah, I think he would have been feeling pretty vulnerable. I'm not surprised he played it. From everyone else's point of view, I think they'd be pretty pleased that they got that idol flushed out.
Yeah, that's right.
Which might have been the objective, frankly.
Yeah, well, it really served 2 purposes for them, didn't it? For the alliance, because they got that person that they wanted to get out, and they flushed out an idol.
Yeah, so 2 for the price of 1. Not a bad deal.
No, all good. Well, we'll better play the sad music. Kate, who will be the moral compass of Fia Fia now that you have gone? And more importantly, who will lead the beach yoga? The tribe has spoken. Okay, any best moments, Craig?
Well, we've just talked about it. Kate's have the balls to vote for who you want to vote for. That was my favourite moment. That was great. Good on you, Kate.
Yeah.
Kate was good. It's a shame she's not going to be on the jury.
That's right. Well, there was one tweet that that I wouldn't mind mentioning.
There's Chester again.
There's Chester. He's still scratching around, isn't he?
He is. He sounds the same every time.
Well, on Twitter, someone was asking JLP. He said it was something like, "Will there be 2 seasons a year?" And JLP replied and said, "No way. One season is more than enough for him." And Flick joined in that conversation and said, "Haha, maybe we can swap. Maybe I can host and you can play."
Oh, wouldn't that be interesting?
Yeah,
She must really like Samoa.
I think so. She's dead keen on the whole Survivor thing, isn't she?
I have to say though, being the host would have to be a better gig than being one of the survivors. Surely, that's right. Much more comfortable. Probably a similar paycheck, to be honest. It's probably quite nice.
It probably is. Yeah, that's right. And I think that brings us to the end of the episode.
That was Monday.
And that was Monday. So we'll wrap that one up and we'll get on to the next episode for Tuesday night. Thanks for listening. Craig, thanks again. We'll see you next time.
Good to be here. See ya.
Bye.